Alrighty, so in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your MultiView Duo with BetaFlight. When you first get it, it'll come in a little package like this, and the first thing you're going to have to do is wire it up. I've gone ahead and done that here, but I'll show you how I did it. Here's the quad that I'm working on right now, and if you need it, the official manual is at bix.us/multiview. This will tell you all the pins and what they do, and give you a nice big image of it as well. If I go ahead and zoom in here, you can see I have all three of the grounds connected to right here. The RunCam has 2 grounds and the little cheap one has 1, so those go to there. Both of my positives connect to the battery pass-through pin, and then I have input 1 and input 2. Input 1 goes to the RunCam and input 2 goes to the cheap camera. On the other side here, I have the video output of the MultiView connected to the OSD input of this Pyro F4 OSD I have here, and then that feeds to my VTX. And then I have 5 volts coming from the onboard regulator here, and that's going into the battery pin of the MultiView. As you can see, the MultiView is pretty tolerant. It'll take anything from 4.2 to about 30 volts. Right there, 4.2 to 30 volts. I'm running 5 volts just because this camera likes 5 volts in. If your cameras are VBAT tolerant, then by all means you can run it directly off your battery voltage. Coming back around, you can see this little green wire that's connected to the pad that says PWM. Of course, part of what makes the MultiView special is that it does PWM and pin I/O, and it does those on the same pin there. And then there's also this little blue wire here, that's just for controlling my RunCam OSD. Now, in order to set the rest of this up on the BetaFlight side, we're going to need to take a look at where the PWM pin connects to, or the pin I/O pin in this case. If I flip over my flight controller here, and I'll bring in a screenshot of the pinout, you can see that I have the other end of this little green wire hooked up to the pin labeled TX2. Just about any TX will do. So from here, we'll head to the computer and finish the setup on the BetaFlight side. Alrighty, so we're here on the product page at bix.us/multiview, and if you head to attachments here, then here's where you can download the manual. And on the second page, it lists all of the steps you need to do to set up the BetaFlight CLI for pin I/O. Luckily, I've gone ahead and created a wizard that generates all these commands for you. So these are only here if you want to do it the hard way. So if you head to bix.us/pinio, you'll see it lists all of the steps. The first thing is to type resource into your BetaFlight CLI, so I'll go ahead and connect. Head to my CLI tab, you can see I'm on BetaFlight 4.0. This process will work for anything after BetaFlight 3.5, which is when they implemented pin I/O. Again, type resource, copy this block of text, and put it into the box here and click next. Now we're only going to set up pin I/O 1 because we only have one pin I/O device. And remember, I hooked the PWM input to serial TX2, so I'm going to select serial TX2. And then this box controls when that pin I/O becomes active. Since I want to have it become active completely independently of all the other stuff that's happening, I'm just going to select user 1, which will create a custom mode. Then I'm going to click generate CLI, and this will generate the 4 commands we need. It's going to unbind that serial TX resource, rebind it to pin I/O, set the pin I/O box for the user group, and click save. So I'm going to copy this, come back to my BetaFlight CLI, paste, hit enter, and reconnect. And head to modes and scroll all the way down. We'll have a new mode called user 1. I'm going to add a range for this and set it to the top half of this spectrum. And then I'm just going to flip the switch on my taranis to get it to recognize that aux1 channel. And this is on a momentary switch, and when it's in the gray area here, the MultiView will be on camera 1, and when it's in the orange area over here, the MultiView is going to be on camera 2. So when I hold this momentary switch, you'll enter the second camera view. And if we cut to some DVR, you can see as I flip the switch on my taranis, the camera switches between the upward angle and the downward angle. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to check out the MultiView at GetFPV, Pyrodrone, ReadyMadeRC, or my site, bix.us.